Prince Charles and Camilla's mystery son from youngster romance, paternity case exposed. In a series of explosive tendencies, Queensland father Simon Charles Dorante-day has launched an extraordinary new criminal case towards the palace to prove that Charles and Camilla are his mother and father. In an exceptional interview with New Concept, Simon reveals he has now started criminal complaints in opposition to the Duchy of Cornwall. Prince Charles's professional royal property in the High Court of Australia, his maximum decided bid, yet to prove he's a second in line to the throne. The 53-year antique has long claimed to have damning evidence that he's a son of Charles and Camilla, born out of wedlock in 1966 and adopted to a family who had strong non-public ties to the Queen. Says Simon, "My grandmother, who worked for the Queen, informed me outright that I used to be Camilla and Charles's son often, and now, after 3 years of felony wrangling, Simon has taken his case to the excessive courtroom in what he describes because the most huge step to date in his combat for the reality. This is maximum explosive factor that has ever happened to the palace." Says Simon, "It's in reality the maximum significant step I've taken so far. I've needed to pressure a cutoff date, keep them to a date because we want solutions." Talking with his loving spouse, Elviana, Simons tells New Idea they filed the papers just prior to Christmas, seeking damages towards the Duchy of Cornwall for actions they've taken and the actions they haven't taken. "When I start with filing the papers in Queensland, the courtroom team of workers laughed at me and bluffed me off," says Simon. "What once they had to seriously recollect it turned into sent down to Sydney for a High Court docket, decided to study, and they're not assessing the case. But while Simon and Alviana wait to hear of the next steps inside the case, they're able to assist. However, be curious about the timing of the felony movement against Charles and Camilla and Prince Harry's departure from the royal family only some weeks later. The authorities and the palace could have learned about my excessive court submissions simply earlier than Christmas, and that I don't have any doubt it would have brought about panic," says Simon. "Then we pay attention of Harry saying that he was stepping back from the royal family. All of the disaster talks at Sandringham Estate with the Queen, Charles and William. It's all very huge twist of fate. At the same time as the whole global changed into thinking they were speaking approximately Harry. We agree with this prison conflict might have also been on the agenda and discussed." In his farewell speech, Harry himself alluded to there being other challenges, and I can't assist but surprise if this example is one. Charles, Camilla, and the Queen have spent years hiding from the truth, walking from the truth about me. However, no more. We need solutions. As part of his new case, Simon has requested for a mediation session and assertion of paternity. When searching into my alternatives, I obtained recommendation that led me to agree with that. It turned into excellent to take my case to the High Courtroom, says Simon. Simon's case is proof Simon turned into born on April 5th, 1966 in Gosport, Portsmouth, inside the UK. On the age of 18 months, he was followed by using a neighborhood couple named Karen and David Day. His adoptive grandparents, Winifred and Ernest, both labored for the Queen and Prince Philip in certainly one of their royal families. Ernest Baldwin received an Imperial Service Award for his paintings for Her Majesty. Simon's grandmother informed him many times he was Camilla and Charles's toddler. She didn't simply hint at that, she advised me outright. Simon has learned that Charles and Camilla first became close in 1965 and just months later inside the lead, as much as when Simon changed into born, Camilla mysteriously disappeared for a minimum 9 months while Charles changed into sent to Australia. The hospital wherein Simon turned into repeatedly born didn't supply babies at the time, and the names of the parents index on his beginning certificate were fictitious. Simon has firm recollections from being taken to homes around Portsmouth as a bit boy in which he might spend time with female he believes became Camilla, while safety officers and his adoptive mom and dad awaited outside. Simon believes Camilla kept him until he was 18 months vintage. The use of the royals and protection officers to hide him, but when he became getting to and take, it changed into arranged that one of the Queen's dependent on residence workforce, Simon's grandmother, would have her daughter undertaken him. Backlash for Meghan Markle. Harry can't realize how much his life has changed. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry left the UK to settle down in Los Angeles with their son Archie. A radical change of life for the Duke of Sussex, which is not without consequences. Homesick since March 31 last March, and the entry into the force of the Brexit. Prince Harry and his wife Meghan Markle are no longer active members of the British Crown, but this is not the only notable change, especially for the Queen's grandson. By turning his back on his country, the Duke of Sussex was forced to give up these military functions, a heartbreaker for the one who had served with honor and forced admiration while fighting in Afghanistan in 2008. Like any soldier, the grandson of the Queen of England had participated in patrols in very sensitive provinces and suffered enemy fire, a human adventure which had deeply marked the young man. The one who knew humanitarian and the army would begin to feel regrets when he is now based in Los Angeles. According to information from the Telegraph, the Duke of Sussex told his relatives that he could not believe what had happened in the past few months and that he missed the army. Prince Harry also said he missed the camaraderie of life in the military. There he was affectionately nicknamed Captain of Wales. What future for Prince Harry? Prince Harry may have felt some relief during his recent emancipation, then excitement at the idea of living his own life away from the crown, but the time may now be for regret. What future for Prince Harry in the City of Angels? After making a few solidarity phone calls, disturbing meals for the most vulnerable, and then reading stories for the children and showing that he was not twiddling his thumbs while the coronavirus pandemic didn't stop paralyzing the child world, what will the Duke of Sussex do after the health crisis has passed? Will someone who has always loved the land and large-scale projects accept to live indefinitely miles from his homeland in the shed of his wife? The launch of the HeadFit, an online platform that provides UK military personnel with permanent access to mental health care and counseling, is a first step. One thing is certain, Los Angeles is an entrenchment camp waiting for big new battles to be fought. Meghan Markle and Harry unconscious. A California real estate agent reveals this risky project. Always looking for the dream home in California where they would like to see their little Archie grow up, Meghan Markle and Harry set their sights on the Malibu district. A terrible mistake, according to an illustrious real estate agent who warns them that this choice could prove to be terribly dangerous for them and their peace of mind. Isolated in Los Angeles, where they spend the period of confinement with their son, Archie will celebrate his first birthday on May 6th. Meghan Markle and Harry nonetheless remain active thanks to new technologies and strictly adhere to sanitary measures imposed by the coronavirus pandemic. Terrible in the United States, the most affected country on the planet, with already 62,000 people dead. Currently tenants of a superb villa in the City of Angels, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex are always looking for the dream family cocoon. And in this context, they have mandated several real estate agents to find the ideal haven of peace for them. Finally, haven of peace. It must be said quickly, as the Sussex seem naive in terms of their research, as just said a California real estate specialist. They made a huge mistake. According to him, Meghan and Harry's desire to settle in Malibu is terribly dangerous, and they made a huge mistake. They who want to be able to live peacefully on a daily basis and away from the curious looks are indeed looking for the future home in the District of Stars, where there are more paparazzi per square meter than grain of sand in Sahara. After the warnings of Sharon Osbourne, Then more recently of Lindsay Lohan, who didn't hesitate to announce a real nightmare for the Sussex at the time of deconfinement, where they will be preferred target of photographers. Meghan and Harry were looking for mentions within the perimeter very popular by the paparazzis, but in addition that certain selected properties had no security barrier and other gates delimiting the domains so that small Sussex tribe could be harassed on a daily basis by fans and unscrupulous photographers. They will sell very quickly. From there to speak of the unconsciousness, there is only one step for the specialist who entrusted to the site TMZ, relayed by the Mirror, that if the Duke and Duchess invested here, they would be forced to resell a few months more so late. It would have become unlivable for them if they don't settle in a fenced property, which I heard, since they're going to visit some houses which are not like it, they make a huge mistake, and I think they will end up selling this house very quickly. Before adding as a warning to the couple, the law differs from country to country on privacy and paparazzi. However, it will be complicated for them. I advise them to buy a house that has at least one barrier to enter the subdivision, then another gate to enter the property itself. There are ideal properties with these double protections, like towards Beverley Park. I advise them to look rather there. This way you can really avoid the paparazzi. They will not be able to say that they were not warned.